Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Star Ladder European coverage. We're here with day 6, and we've got only one game today. There's been a lot of rescheduling madness here on this bright Sunday, but we've got Na'Vi versus RX today, Merlini.
I have not seen Na'Vi play in quite some time, actually.
Yeah, you missed day 1. We got to see a couple of Na'Vi games. They're actually looking pretty fierce right now. Let's very quickly just take a gander at the grid here for EU, and Na'Vi is actually 3-0 right now. They are number 1 in the group stage. So they're off to a good start. We'll see if they can continue their streak of domination, huh?
Yeah. Relax, they did pretty well the other day. They were quite the resilient team, though. I thought they were, but
yeah,
they fought like a corner dog, fought their way back to victory. It was pretty good to watch.
As long as Dread doesn't get axed, I think they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
I'm really going to go out on a limb there, and I think we can go ahead and take a look at the draft here.
All right.
And indeed, oh, I've got them backwards, per usual here. And, yeah, our draft has already started. So, our RX will actually have luxury first pick. They will grab themselves the Ember Spirit, who made it through the bans. And Na'Vi with the very interesting first pick Treant Protector. Not a hero that I traditionally think of associated with Na'Vi, but interesting nonetheless.
First pick Doom is pretty good versus Ember Spirit, but yeah, first pick Treant Protector, that's
a little weird.
That's a lot of weird. It's unusual. It's not that great against an Ember Spirit. It might have been a deny pick. Were they the team that used Ember as well as Treant Protector? I definitely know they used Ember. I didn't know if they used Treant Protector to combo with it, though.
I'm trying to recall specifically, and I
think
can't. We've seen a little bit of Tree kind of sprinkled intermittently. I know, I think Go Black ran a Tree, at least in one of the games where we saw them. But I don't remember about RX specifically.
Tree's usually completely ignored unless you're Rock's Kiss. And as your other teams, you'll pick it up like once out of every 20 games.
Yeah. And I guess there are specific situations where Treant is a little bit more useful than others. His ultimate is a decent setup for some wombo combo type strategies. Interesting bans from Na'Vi as well. Ancient Apparition and Dazzle. And we've seen an increasing amount of AA play over, I guess really how long has it been since AA has really made his resurgence? Maybe over the past month or so, 6.8-ish.
Yeah, he's hot stuff.
Yeah, he's hot stuff right now. He's the flavor of the month.
He's like the hot girl in the room.
Yeah.
That everyone wants.
And Dazzle, it's a love-hate relationship with Dazzle. Some teams like him, some teams don't. He's
good.
Been getting a little bit of love here and there. I think Dazzle's still a little underrated right now. He had that time to shine.
He's underrated? He's like first ban like all
right
the
now.
time.
But we've seen a lot of games, though, where he hasn't been picked or banned.
That's true.
Over the past, like, 5 days of Star Ladder, there's been a lot of days where no Dazzle love at all.
I think he's about right.
Yeah.
AA may be slightly overrated.
I would agree with that.
And then Dazzle's like about right to slightly underrated. I don't know. Some teams first picked him yesterday too. Like Dazzle Slar just straight off the
yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. We have seen a little bit of Dazzle Slardar action, which is okay. AA is pretty good. He needs a team built around him, and you need somebody that can handle AA. He's a relatively high skill cap support, I think, relative to someone like Treant.
Yes,
Treant's he's a different flavor of skill. You need more map awareness, but he's like a slow and steady. You know, you got to remember to use that living armor, buff up your towers, but he's a very slow Tree.
Yeah, he's much more macro. Yeah,
is that what I just saw?
Win rate on Tree.
Wow.
He's just more macro. Are you at the right place at that right time? I think AA is somewhat like that too.
Yeah, that's true. AA is very position based. AA is just really squishy. What's nice about Tree is he's tanky, you have that living armor, and then you also have Nature's Veil as sort of like a getaway, your one get out of jail free card. AA doesn't have that.
Most people don't even skill that until 9.
Very late, yeah.
Or 10, rather.
Could be worth a value point, but
yeah, it's decent for a value point.
It does make a nice escape early on before your opponents get detection. So we'll see what Na'Vi want to grab here for their third hero choice. And let's see, do we have some stats that we can look at? I think we do, if I can pull them up appropriately here. And let's see, Team 1, is this Na'Vi? All right, Na'Vi. This is just their Star Ladder stats, although this is not right. It says they're 2-1, and I believe they are 3-0. So let's just pretend we didn't look at that overlay. I'm not so sure about that one. So scratch that. Just tried to spice things up a little bit here, as this is actually a really long draft. Both teams have burned a good bit of their bonus time. Na'Vi are really thinking hard about how they want to continue this very tanky roster they've grabbed for themselves.
How to handle the Ember Spirit.
This is a good Timbersaw game. Not banned out. I think RX might be wise to grab themselves a Timbersaw coming up.
Team pick.
Timbersaw is Onid versus Treant and Doom.
He sure is. And he's not too bad against Gyro. Gets all up in
he's
his
not
face.
bad.
Does some damage. Nothing special, but, you know, does some damage.
He brings it deep
Yeah.
to the table.
Yeah, oh yeah. And Gyro's that weird hero that we've talked about a little bit. He's got the abysmal win rate in 6.8. It's really not his patch, but still a good hero. Still very well-rounded. Does an absurd amount of damage. Still the best rapier carrier
10 seconds
you can ask for.
remaining.
Next to Skeleton King, of course.
Medusa.
5
Medusa. Okay, maybe
seconds
she's the
remaining.
best.
Is she the best? I think she's second best. Gyrocopter's range is much longer with Flak, and he
Yeah.
farms a lot
Reserve
faster.
time.
I think Gyro's number one.
Yeah.
The Skeleton King thing was being a bit
Dude,
facetious.
Skeleton King's awesome with range.
He is pretty good with it, but not as good as Gyro.
He's like number 3.
Number 3. Okay, I guess so. Just
Trying to think
because
of
he
other
doesn't
good
die.
ones. Kunkka's pretty good.
Kunkka. Yeah, he's dirty. He's a dirty
So
biscuit.
I'd probably say Kunkka 3, Gyro 4. Wow. So they're going with the Ember Spirit solo mid with the Slardar. Now we got some minus armor going on, and it's pretty nice versus Treant and Doom. High HP heroes and need something to cut through them. Ember
Yep.
Slardar.
And I always like minus armor against Doom
10
because he's
seconds
really low
remaining.
armor, so amplified damage is kind of particularly potent against that hero, especially in the
5
earlier
seconds
levels
remaining.
before he has some of those core items. You know, once he gets like a Shiva's or an AC, some of that gets
Reserve
negated.
time.
But
Frost armor time.
yeah, Frost armor time. Got to find that Frost Ogre.
10 seconds
You never know. It could
remaining.
be a Doom solo mid. We have seen that a time or two. He's a really nice
5
flex pick.
seconds
That's one of the good
remaining.
things about Doom.
Yes. Oh, they're running real low. Okay, they're going with the Night Stalker. Let's just
Wow.
get 3 strength heroes. Relax, you're doing fine. Timbersaw is screaming at you. Pick me. Pick me.
Really is. I'm surprised that Na'Vi didn't ban him out. They banned out the Clockwork, which is never
Maybe they're baiting it out.
maybe you're baiting it. Yeah.
I don't think. I mean,
I don't know. It's one of the 6 Timbersaw's just straight good against strength
You
heroes.
really can't. Yeah, there's no bait there.
I don't know what the bait is. What's the switcheroo? What's the curveball? What really shuts down Timber? I mean, Rubik is actually really
10
good against
seconds
Timber, and
remaining.
RX have already picked him up.
Lion's really good.
Lion, yeah, that's another one. But I don't know if that's
5
worth it. You've got
seconds
Lion to shut down Timber, but he's pooping on your 3 core or your 2 cores and one of your supports.
Drafter is
Reserve
blue and
time.
pink respectively.
Oh yeah, Tame My Wild and Puppy.
No, there they go. Okay,
Oh.
well they
Have the-
Na'Vi's
they have
turn
something
to
going for
ban.
them. Good job, relax.
Yeah, look at that Timbersaw.
You're doing fine.
You're doing fine. You're doing better than fine right now.
That's a nice pick. Who do you doom now? You really want to doom the Ember Spirit, but you don't want to let Timber just run rampant in your face.
And you kind of want to doom Slardar a little bit
Yeah.
because he's scary. That big fish guy
5
hopping up in
seconds
there, and
So I played. Oh, there was a Doom versus Slardar yesterday. Doom does not take off sprint, and
Reserve
Doom
time.
dispels most positive buffs, but
That's-
doesn't dispel sprint.
that's
Dire
interesting.
team ban.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why.
Sprint is one of those weird, like, metaphysical abilities that doesn't count as a spell or a buff because it's like a
Yeah.
physical buff or something.
I don't know. It's probably
Strange.
like reactive armor too. It's like one of those weird buffs.
Yeah, where it's not like
10 seconds
not a buff.
like I think most buff is basically like magical. Like a purge will get rid of it,
Navi's
and I don't
turn
think
to
purge
pick.
gets rid of sprint. Like if
Yeah.
you have a
Or
diffusal
weave.
or weave. Yeah, really, Doom just get rid of weave?
Oh, I don't think so.
That one I'm not sure about because weave is definitely a. Although Dazzle's all physical. That
Yeah,
Dire
weave is
team
physical
pick.
because it works on. Yeah, I don't.
that's a
I'm
weird
pretty
one.
sure
That one
it
I don't
would.
know. People don't buy the diffusal against my Dazzle. That's people don't buy diffusal, man. It's not something I see that often. So Shadow Shaman, the final choice for Na'Vi, finally going to get some int on the board. Interested in how they're going to lane this exactly. Who's their off laner here?
Could be Doom. Could be a tree. You don't know. That's the thing about Navi's lineup. They have
Yeah.
a lot of
10 seconds
people that can go a
remaining.
lot of places. Night Stalker probably mid.
5
Gyro
seconds
probably
remaining.
safe lane. Shadow Shaman probably support. Doom probably off. Treant probably
Reserve time.
Mhm.
support.
Yeah.
But that's all probably.
Yeah, I was thinking, maybe it could be a Shadow Shaman mid, but they've already got 3 cores.
No,
It
they
has
need-
to be a Shadow
you,
Shaman
You
support.
cannot put Night Stalker in the off lane.
Yeah.
And Gyrocopter could potentially go into off lane with the safe lane Shadow Shaman, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Night Stalker needs his levels.
Yeah, Night Stalker needs his levels, so does Doom. They could, if they wanted to do something a little bit weird, they could put Doom in the jungle, but that still isn't that that great of a lineup. Very interesting. We'll see how Na'Vi wants to do it. Lich will be the final choice for Team Relax. You're doing fine. So another interesting roster. Kind of just that casual Slardar pick. No other real minus armor to synergize with it.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad here.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I don't mind it, but it's I'm having trouble seeing the synergy in the RX draft. Like they've got some good magic damage from Lich, they've got Timber to deal with all these strength heroes, they've got Ember for the mid. It's sort of a mismatch. They've got a little bit of everything, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a pretty balanced roster, but I don't see a huge amount of synergy across these 5 heroes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared for Relax.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
I'm a little bit scared
10
for them.
seconds
I mean, Na'Vi have a really snowbally lineup here. If they just get a little bit of momentum in that laning phase and have a good mid game, I don't know. Like between the silence from Night Stalker and everything else, this is going to be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, I think that Night Stalker and Shadow Shaman were both pretty good picks, though. Doom was like their only way to
Prepare
deal with
for
Ember
battle.
Spirit. And then now they have the Hex, they have Shackle, they have Silence. Silence is also very, very good versus Timber Saw too. So Relax's lineup is somewhat difficult to manage with a Slaughter up in your face, with an Ember who can just start cleaving you soon, and
Yeah.
Timber who does the deeps. But
Timber is the scariest one, I
yes,
think. But
Timber is by far the scariest.
the thing about Ember Spirit is you can keep him down. If you like, he's kind of easy to gank, and we've seen these Embers just completely fall off if they don't have a good early and kind of mid game. Conversely, they can get out of control if they do pick up a couple of kills early on and what have you. And Shotchlo, he's going to walk into the danger zone here. He will make it out, but almost walking into the 5-man roster of Na'Vi.
This is a 22.78 odds in favor of Na'Vi.
30
Seems to be
seconds
pretty
to
fair.
battle.
Sounds appropriate. RX, they've been struggling a little bit in Starladder so far.
Strug City, man.
Strug City.
Strug City.
Never going to let him live down that axe. That was just next level.
Previous level.
So
Okay, well, Puppy is out scouting bottom. He only has a stout shield and a tanko, but he also has 250 gold to boot, which is unusual on a support.
we're going to see a
So-
farming tree here. No, he will be with Gyro.
I think he's just waiting to see if he needs sentries or not.
Oh,
Trying to play
Wind
greedy.
X. He's going to walk right into it, and he's going to be in some trouble here. He will go ahead and telekinesis the Shadow Shaman back, but there's the level 1 Shackle. Funnick in the front line, trying to path block. Does have the Scorched Earth on, doing a great job. Oh, Windex will scoot by, but it doesn't
I'm
matter.
scared for Relaxed.
First blood comes out on the Doombringer nonetheless.
Shackle is one of
Oh,
the best
boy.
level 1 disables, if not the best level 1 disable.
Yeah, 2.75 seconds at level 1. That is a huge duration.
Yeah, especially on a low armor hero like Rubik and a Doom just beating on you with that high base armor. That was just a freebie.
Mhm.
I have no idea where Yoki was, but
Wait, who's got high base armor? You
who
mean
has
low,
high?
low base armor?
Oh yeah,
Rubik?
he had low base armor.
Low base armor,
Yeah,
okay.
he has low base armor.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
GG1 armor.
So let's take a look at these rosters here and see how Na'Vi want to lane this. It will be Havost in the bottom lane playing on the position 1 Gyrocopter. He'll be supported by Kuroki on the Shadow Shaman, currently in the Radiant Jungle. He's also joined by Puppy playing on the Treant Protector. In the mid lane, it will be Dendi on the Night Stalker, and as we've already seen, it's Funnick on the Doombringer in the solo off lane, but he's been off to one hell of a start, picking up all of that First Blood bonus golds. He does get harassed back a little bit. Merlini on the Dire side.
And on the dire side, we have TMW on the Timbersaw, the Drafter, and we have Dread on the off lane Lich, babysitting Shotchlo on that Ember Spirit, and the 2 safe lane heroes. We have Yoki on the Slardar, and Windex, who's already given up First Blood, and things are just not off to the greatest start for Relax. Funnick already picked up a Hellbear Smasher. He is level 3.5. 1.5 minutes in. That is absurd.
Yep, that's huge. He is the off laner, and that is just a much better start than you could ever hope
Are
for.
we only scared for Relax because they're underdogs? Like, if these teams were of equal skill, would we still be scared for Relax?
I want to say yes a little bit. I mean, like I said, their roster is pretty good, but I feel like a lot of it comes down to execution. Na'Vi have a much more obvious strategy. Like, between the Doom and the Night Stalker, they're going to be looking to pick up, like, early laning phase and mid-game momentum, get that Gyro, probably an early BKB. I doubt we'll see a Hand of Midas coming out from Havost. And it just seems like a pretty straightforward roster. They've got a really good mid-game team fight team, and then they've got the roster wards to synergize in some pushing. Relax, I see them as just more like this classic 2-1-2. Maybe if Shochlo has a good time here in the off lane, then Ember can carry. You know, in the mid, they've got Timber. They need him to do a lot of damage to the strength. But all in all, it's going to come down to execution more than like just a really solid strategy like Na'Vi have. Does that make sense? Do you second the notion?
I would say that Relax is more difficult to execute. Yeah, I agree on most points.
Or just more that they don't have a clear, like, when does their team really peak? Like, I think Na'Vi really peak in that mid-game when Night Stalker is going to start picking up momentum. Dendi can move around, start ganking, and then they can use that momentum to easily knock down towers or take Roche, get those mid-game map objectives. What is the obvious strategy for RX other than just win your lanes and try and get some kills?
Get huge on Ember and
Get huge, yeah.
get huge.
It's usually a good
They
strategy.
probably win the late game.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
I
that.
think they have the late game, assuming
they
they
have the
don't
late
get...
game, yeah. They just need to survive the ganks. That's the
Do they
most
really
difficult
have the
part.
late game, though? I mean...
I think so. Ember and Slardar in the Timber?
Yeah, and uh-oh here. We'll hold that thought as Puppey gets initiated on. Kuroki will use the Shackle. Other shot comes out. Puppey will be the first to fall. Now Havost flies over. They at least make it a 1-for-1 as they finish off the Ember. And oh, Dread, he's going to get
body blocks.
obliterated. Yeah, great
First
body
by
blocks from
Funnick, now
Na'Vi.
by Kuroki, and
Easy 2-for-1.
yeah, that was just not worth it.
Yeah, that Rocket Barrage, man, does a lot of damage. If Havost came over a little bit earlier, they might have been able to save Puppey, but still a very worthwhile exchange.
Protector. He's just level 2.
Yeah. That value point in Nature's Guise would have saved him. Just saying. Oh, boy. So, anyhow, I mean, Ember and Slardar are definitely hard carries, no doubt about it. But Gyrocopter and Doom, especially if he goes that more position 1 style. Oh, yep, you're right. There's the Living Armor. We'll buy him some time. Tame My Wild, get sheeped, but he's got a haste rune, so he'll be cruising back to safety. No kill will come out. And Dendi's actually rotating up top, looking for a potential gank.
Slardar's hard to kill. He has 950 HP. He has Sprint. He does have the value point in Bash. And
Very
he has
good.
Treads and a Stout Shield. So that's not the easiest target to kill. Maybe if Doom were level 6, but even then, you really want to be going for that squishy Rubik. So
Yeah.
I think Windex needs to watch his positioning a lot, but he's pretty safe, pretty well fortified.
Yeah.
Funnick about to do another creep pull, so he will probably be our first hero to hit level 6 in this game.
Which is...
Actually, Gyro's level 6
Yeah.
already.
Gyro hit 6 from those kills, but still, that offlaner Doom, he's in a 2v1 scenario, and he's doing better than expected, I think. So, I don't know. I mean, Doom, like, if he goes more of a farm-based build, it looks like he will be more of that kind of support offlane Doom, as he does have a mech. Havost in some trouble down bottom, trying to do some fancy work in the trees. He does have phase boots, did get a healing salve off. He might actually be able to survive this. Fancy footwork from Havost. Now Dendi ports in. It is nighttime, so he's looking for a kill here. Oh no, Dread's in big trouble. Silence still available. The bowl has come out. That'll buy Dread some time, but Dendi, he wants to man up. Night Stalker with that huge base armor in these early levels can dive towers. He won't go for it. Meanwhile, around the backside, Tame My Wild joins the party. He picks off Puppey on the Treant Protector. Now the Shackle comes out, and they will get a kill on the mid-hero from Relax as Timbersaw falls. Now Shochlo coming in to try and help his buddy. He will pay for it. Dendi in the front lines. I don't think he's making it away. He's got Flame Guard on, but it's just not enough. One last auto attack from the Gyrocopter does secure the kill.
Havost is getting huge. He's 3-0-0, and on top of that, he's gotten kills on the important heroes too, the Timbersaw and Ember Spirit too. I think those are the two most important to keep down. Slardar, a little bit so, but if you can just manage him with Doom, then that's okay. They're keeping down 2 of the 3 important heroes, and Funnick's getting harassed a little bit on top, but I mean,
He has an ultimate.
Yeah, he does have an ultimate.
Yeah, let's say if Yoki gets a little bit too manly here, the ultimate will come, and this could be a little bit difficult. Especially with that living armor, Doom can afford to be a bit more aggressive, and given that he already has the buckler out, he's got that armor buff, so it is helping to deal with the amplified damage, at least a little bit.
I think Windex should have TP'd bottom. He TP'd bottom, but then he canceled it, and then Relax was like, hey, we're going to go anyways, and then overcommitted a little bit. Timbersaw is trying to be very active, get a couple of kills, but it's just so darn difficult against the Silence and the Shackle. He usually doesn't make it out alive unless he has a haste.
Yeah. And we talked about how he's a good pick here, and he does do a lot of damage to these strength heroes, but he doesn't have enough damage to solo the world. He needs support from his team, and this is where that kind of lack of synergy between RX is starting to show just a little bit.
This is definitely like a blink first, I think.
Uh-oh, down bottom. Call down will be enough to secure the kill onto Dread. Shochlo will use his Searing Chains to disable Havost, and that will be enough to keep him alive. But Havost just picks up a complete solo kill, almost a double, all by his lonesome.
Cooldown OP, man.
Yep.
55-second cooldown. He just used it once very, very early. Like, as soon as he hit level 6, he just dropped it in a lane.
Yep. He's been all about that. So now Na'Vi with a very solid lead, about 2,000 gold, 2,000 experience here as we're about to approach the 8-minute mark. Obviously, 6-2 in hero kills. The heavy favorites are off to one hell of a good start. Right now, Yoki is the big breadwinner for Team Relax. He is number 3 on the net worth chart. And actually,
somebody's about to get those.
Timber's farm is surprisingly good, but oh yeah, here it is. Funnick comes up. He throws the Doom out on the Slardar, and now he wants to go for the Rubik. A port coming in. Kuroki inbound as well. It is Shochlo that's joining the party. Bowl has come out. Kuroki may get left behind here. And yeah, Funnick just going to head for the hills. Kuroki, he'll try and do a little more damage to the Rubik, but all in all, everyone survives on the Dire, and Na'Vi do pay with their Shadow Shaman.
Nice TP from Shochlo, helping out his team there. They definitely need their important heroes to be involved and not just farm up. If Timbersaw just farms up, if Ember just farms up, and Slardar just farms up, they're going to lose because their other heroes will just get ganked. So as long as they keep countering this aggression with reactionary TPs, I think they'll be at least okay going into the second night. But second night, I think that's where we may see Relax fall apart.
What's interesting right now is that Dendi is actually not ahead of Timbersaw in terms of raw net worth. He has his phase boots up, magic wand, and a smoke in the inventory, but Tame My Wild has been finding farm. He's got his arcane boots up now. He's still 1-1-0, but 45 last hits. He did use that time when Dendi was roaming about to pick up some farm. Ooh, up top, Funnick and Yoki going blow for blow, but no kill will come out. Funnick will waddle back to the tower. Yoki may dive this. He's got a Slitherine Crush. Nope, well, he does have some wand charges here. Uh-oh.
This is a tough kill.
Down bottom now. Havost using that cooldown, or pardon me, call down, but he will be initiated upon. The Chain Frost comes out. That's enough to secure the kill on the Gyrocopter. Kuroki, he won't be able to survive either. 2 kills come out for Relax. They're gaining a little bit of momentum here, Merlini.
Yeah, by a little. I mean, they're only down like by 1,000 gold. I think that's pretty good considering their lineup.
And the start they have.
They're starting to come together. Again, the second nighttime is where I really start to fear for them. They also do not have level 6 up on Shadow Shaman. And I think one big problem of Relax is they're not going to be able to translate anything into tower kills because of the Gyrocopter call down, because of the threat of Rasta Wars, because of nice diving,
living armor as well.
And living armor is the big one.
Yeah.
So can they get any towers? I think that's going to be really important for them because if Na'Vi takes down their towers, they're just going to be so hindered in the area that they can farm. Shochlo is already poor as is on that offlane Ember Spirit. He just has brown boots and bracer and a lot of small items.
Compare him to Doom sitting at 4.3k. The hugest disparity in this game is by far the offlaners. Doom has a mech. He got it right around the 8-minute mark or so, and now we'll see him get very aggressive onto Yoki. Pops the ultimate. Dendi comes up here as well. And yeah, this Slardar is going to be destined to fall. I do declare. Tame My Wild, he's on his way up. He's trying to do some damage, but will he have enough to secure a kill? Living Armor comes out onto Dendi, uses those wand charges, and he'll be just fine. Now Funnick will be the target of choice. He is out of mana, he is out of options, and he does fall. Rubik picks up that kill, and they make it a 1-for-1. Slardar for the Doombringer.
That's not bad at all. And
not bad for RX, yeah.
Yeah, not bad for RX. I mean, Timber just did so much damage there against Doom.
Oh, Shochlo getting a little bit aggressive. It will translate into a kill onto Kuroki. Let's make it a 2-for-1. All of a sudden, we're all tied up 7 apiece here at the 11-minute mark, though. It doesn't come for free. Havost doing some damage to the bottom tower. He will use a call down. Yoki ports in. Both call downs do connect with the Slardar. Havost might be able to grab a kill here. Rocket Barrage is now up, sitting level 3. This is going to be a close call, but Yoki will get off the Slitherine Crush, and that's where this engage will end. Meanwhile, up top, action all over the place here as Tame My Wild gets a little bit aggressive on that top tier 1 tower, looking for a kill on Dendi, doesn't find it, and he will be forced back. So
yep, kills are all evened up. Gyrocopter going for the HOD build. Helm of Iron Will, very good versus Slardar. So-so versus the other heroes. But he's looking to get huge.
Looking to start stacking those Ancients, use that flat cannon, and get up a little bit of farm. They will try and make a defend here at the bottom tier 1 tower. It will not get denied. Havost grabs the last hit. Now Tame My Wild will be forced to Timber Chain away. And that's where it will end. A noble effort. They did burn the glyph for that, but Havost with the crafty last hit.
Yeah. Checking out his net worth. He has 5,200. He is 700 above the Slardar, who has a Vanguard. Woo!
Oh, Vanguard. Bleh, ew.
Ew.
Stinky. Although, is this really a bad Vanguard game? It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Not the
I mean,
worst
it's
scenario.
never the worst scenario, but it's usually like, that's blink money, man.
That's blink money indeed. Dendy with a double damage rune on. We're in the middle of
that's a
nighttime.
Scary Night Stalker. He has a Void Stone. What is the Void Stone for?
Interesting.
Scythe? Lincolns?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Yules?
Those are Yules would be strange. Lincolns, I could see. I mean, they have a fair bit of single
It's so hard to
target.
farm that with Night Stalker, though.
Yeah.
Usually you want a cheaper item like Armlet.
Yeah, you need something with an easier
Radiant's
build-up as
bottom
well that
tower
gives you
is
more of a
under
burst when you get it. I mean, even once he gets Lincolns,
It could be the casual Void Stone.
just a casual Void Stone, just need some mana regen and
Usually if you want mana regen, you go earn.
Void Stone into
Dire's
Armlet.
middle
Yeah.
tower is under attack.
Well, here we go. RX will lose their tier 1 tower mid. Rasta wards come down, and obviously they've already used their glyph, so this tower.
Here we go. 3
will be
heroes down
destined
on
to
bottom,
fall.
trying to go for
Dire's
Havos.
middle tower
Rubik
has
did steal
fallen.
living armor as well.
Yeah, he's already pretty living armor. That's a
Dire's
kill.
middle tower
Not
is
happening.
under attack.
Yep. Havost, he's just fine. So they grab that tower in the mid, and now Na'Vi will rotate up towards the top. It is just Lich and Slardar, and it's actually just about to be Slardar. This could be a little bit scary for the Slytherin guard, but he will slither away with plenty of time to spare as Dendy was inbound.
So this is Navi's time to shine. Second nighttime, Rasta's level 6, and they might just take down 2 towers, and that's going to be pretty good because Relax isn't able to put out any pressure on towers of their own. And this bottom T1, 1200 out of 1300 HP, and everything else can just get living armored up. So I don't really see Relax pushing, but at the same time they can make a defend here, especially with Rasta wards down.
And Timbersaw, he's really good for defending these towers, especially in the top lane where there's a lot of trees nearby. You can get that pure damage from Whirling Death. You can Timber Chain all over the
Radiant's
place.
bottom tower
Definitely
is
a
under attack.
good place to be. Puppy is level 6, so just about to have that last point in living armor, and that's when that
Radiant
ability gets
structures are
particularly
fortified.
potent. We see him using it down bottom to stop Ember
Radiant's
Spirit from
bottom
pushing
tower
away, but we
is
will
under
see an
attack.
engage. Dendy coming around the back side of the tower. This will be a relaxed sandwich up here in the top lane. Rubik using his living armor to try and heal up the tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yoki now looking to pursue onto Dendy, throws out the amplified damage. Navi trying to find the right way to engage this. It is a 5v3 right now. Relax are missing 2, so they will be forced to be defensive here. Timbersaw hops backwards. Just look how well Navi are able to zone Relax right now.
Where does Dread?
Uh-oh,
They need that Chain
Kuroki.
Frost.
Taking a lot of damage. He does have the Serpent Wards available. He dies to the Slithering Crush. That's a great kill for RX to start off this fight. Around the side here, it looks like Wind X as well as Shotshell will be in big trouble. Chain Frost coming out, though. It's going to do a huge amount of damage. Havost in big trouble. Doom has already gone down. The living armor will buy him a little bit of time, but Havost will fall. That's going to make it a 3-for-3 in this fight, but Dendy's still alive, and he's looking for more. He's got Dread in his sights. Puppy nearby as well. He's already burned the Overgrowth. Will have another living armor. Leech Seed comes out as well. Dendy's going to get very aggressive here. He wants to finish off Dread. He does have a Yule's complete, and it's been coming in handy.
Oh,
trying
that
to buy
mech
time.
right in the nick of time.
Oh, the Courier just dropping it off. Wow, clutch plays coming out from the Lich. And now Dendy is in full retreat mode. Or is he? He's going to turn around. A living armor, a regeneration rune that was in the bottle. He might be able to turn, but nope, him and Puppy will just make the escape. So a 3-for-3, though Navi still finish off the top tier 1 tower.
Dire's top
519
tower
move speed
is
with
under
Yules,
attack.
and you can't TP away from Night Stalker.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It came
Why
in
not
handy there,
Basher?
but
Basher's pretty good too.
yeah, usually with Night Stalker, it's all about the aggression. Like, you need the kills to get that momentum to let you have a presence in the mid game and then into the late game. If you get more of a passive item like Yules, yeah, it has a lot of utility, but will it give Dendy the tools he needs to
I'm
snowball?
not sure. I mean, he can spam Void a lot, and he will always have mana for, not always, but most of the time he'll have mana for Silence on Timber and Ember. Ember just got doomed in Overgrowth. There's no saving him from that one.
Oh, Shotchlo's in big trouble. Dendy goes straight on him, pops the ultimate. And will he be able to secure this kill, though? This is part of that problem where he just doesn't hit that hard. That'll give Relax plenty of time to come inbound as soon as Yoki shows his face. Dendy will be forced back. And speaking of Yoki, he's about 50 gold away from that blink. And that's when things will really get exciting for Team RX.
I like this build from Phonic. The mech into Vlad's.
Yeah, I like
Gives him
this build
so
as well.
much armor, 12 armor, and they're all about the mid game. They're a mid game based lineup. I mean, unless Gyrocopter gets huge, but at the same time, they still need to capitalize on the fact that they have a Night Stalker. So having that and that lifesteal and the armor versus Sardar, it's all going to be pretty darn effective. And Timbersaw not having the greatest time surviving in these team fights. 3 and 2 on him. He almost has the soul booster, but
Mm-hmm.
Navi looking for blood at the T2. No chain frost up though.
Radiant's bottom
Yep.
It's
tower
the only
is
ultimate
under
that's
attack.
not up.
Yeah.
Besides darkness.
Although it's coming up very soon. That last fight, the Chain Frost, was absolutely huge. Great timing from the Lich, being played by Dread. He's a pretty dirty Lich player, I have to admit.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about that mech timing. That was clutch. That was the definition of clutch right there. Like, using the gold he got from the Chain Frost kills to buy the mech and then bring it via the courier during the fight.
Yes.
Those are the kind of plays that just give you those nerd chills coming up your spine.
Big plays from Dread.
Big plays. Redeeming himself here.
Opposite of the Zax.
Yeah. Oh, down bottom, we see a blink forward from Yoki. He actually misses the Slitherine Crush. And, well, that will make for an easy escape for old Dendi there.
He looks like he's going for
Radiant's
BKB
bottom
next.
tower is
Very
under
nice to
attack.
deal with the Timbersaw.
Pretty standard.
Everyone's heading bottom now. They're trying to take advantage of daytime now. And this is when Night Stalker's not super scary. And he doesn't have his ultimate up for yet another 40 seconds. And looks like first tower for Relax, maybe going down. So all in all, we still have a pretty
Radiant's
close game.
bottom
6,000
tower
gold
is
favor
under
in favor of
attack.
Navi, but about to go down to 5,000.
And the experience edge the Navi have is pretty much negligible. Only about 500 right now. So RX are hanging in there a lot better than I thought they would in this mid-game. I thought there was more of a chance Navi would kind of run over them in these team fights before the 30-minute mark. But RX have been holding their own
Kuroki's
quite
been
well.
dying very early in a lot of these fights.
Yeah, that last fight he didn't get the roster wards off before he went down, and that was also huge. This time, he will not make the same mistake twice. Throws the wards down before the fight starts, wants to get some extra damage in on the tower. And Timbersaw does hop forward. A homing missile is
Dire's
charging
top
up,
tower is under attack.
and it will get taken out.
Dire's structures are
So there's the
fortified.
Yules on the Lich. Glyph comes out from the Dire side. Dread's in big trouble. Uses the mech as the cooldowns connect. Havos taking an absurd amount of damage. Does still pop the BKB. Hex comes out on Tame My Wild. It will be a 2-for-0 to start off this fight. The tower has fallen. Compliments of Kuroki's wards. Now Dendi with living armor on. Plows ahead. Overgrowth from Puppey. They're going to grab a kill on the Rubik. This is the Navi that we're used to seeing here, Merlini. Now Shotchlo caught in the shackles. And there's a Doom out on Yoki. It's a 4-for-0. A triple kill for Havost. There will be a buyback coming from Tame My Wild. Timbersaw looking to make a defense here. The Glyph has already been burned, and RX are in some trouble. They're going to have a hard time keeping this top tier 3 alive. Their racks may take pressure as well.
Dire's top tower
These
is
Rasa
under
wards are
attack.
just so formidable. It just puts Relax in a really bad position because they don't want to fight on the Rasa wards, but they also don't want to give them a free T2. And they like kind of hesitated.
Dire's
And
top
by the time the
barracks are
tower
under
was down, they were
attack.
like still hanging around. And
Yep.
nice Yules set up and
Oh,
called out.
wow. Now he's going to get sheeped as well. Yoki getting completely shut down right now. Call down will be off the mark, but still they stop him from getting the engage he was looking for. He goes back in. Now Kuroki's the one in trouble. Windex did steal the voodoo, or pardon me, the hex. And will some more kills follow. It looks like Quanix in some trouble. That Whirling Death doing some serious work. Ember comes in with a huge sleight of fist. Finishes off the Doom as well as the Gyrocopter. Now they're going to pursue outwards. Treant Protector gets killed. Dendi the only one left alive. This could be a full 5-man wipe from the side of Navi. Timber Chain off the mark, but they secure the kill.
What a hold.
Wow. A semi-hold. They do lose their ranged racks. Melee still alive, but
Dire's
Relax,
top
showing
barracks
that
are
they've got a sign of life still yet alive.
Yeah, Navi just got a little bit overconfident with their BKB down on the Gyrocopter. No Rasta wards either, and no nighttime on Night Stalker. So 3 important cooldowns, I say, for them, and none of them were available. And not to mention Doom. So looks like Roshan won't fall because it's still relatively early in the game. Navi's heroes are around that level 12 to 13 mark that supports being at level 9, and they will be up even before this T1 push. So Relax not able to translate that into any objective goals, but that's okay. I think that are happy with that.
And there is now a blink up on Kuroki as well, which you didn't have for that last fight, which is
Radiant's middle
absolutely
tower
huge
is
on the
under
Shadow
attack.
Shaman. Doom also carrying a blink now following that team fight. So Navi have really increased their initiation power. We did see the BKB that was up on Havost at the beginning of that fight, and Dendi, well, reasonably close to his. He has the first
There's
2
a
core
smoke.
pieces. Yeah, waiting for that recipe.
There's a 4-minute smoke. I think this Blink Shadow Shaman is going to catch them off guard. Looks like Shadowslow senses out the game coming in. Everyone is heading back. And he's still not too far out. He does have a Chrysalis up in his inventory, so Sacho's getting decently big. But yeah, RX thinks that something's up.
They are definitely suspicious. Rubik with Arcane Boots. No item progression coming from RX following that last fight. Timbersaw did buy back as
Ooh,
well.
the counter smoke. Except
Ooh.
Shadowslow's not there.
And whoa, Timber just picked up his Bloodstone. Whoa, RX. They're going to smoke into the Roche pit. And Na'Vi, they seem to be suspicious. We see on the mini-map a nice little drawing there. Shochlo in the mid lane will try and buy some time. I love this cheeky play from RX, though. Baiting with Shochlo in the mid. And he's the elusive one. We'll use that Fire Remnant. Roche now below half health. I think this is going to be successful for RX. Very cheeky plays.
That was pretty nice. And he's gambling a lot because he can just get Blink Doomed. You can get Blink Hex, but they're not taking it. And this is like the fake bait. You're like out there because they're like, why would Ember be out there when we have all these tools to kill him? But
yeah, and that's part of why I think Na'Vi were so passive. They were afraid that it was bait, and then they get jumped on. So it was a double whammy. They'll smoke again now. RX looking to catch Na'Vi completely off guard.
That was a very smart move, though. And now Nighttime is used. They can try and wait it out, and they're going to have to engage with Rasta wards if they want to force this.
Yep. Na'Vi do have the edge here as top lane is pushing in, so RX will have to go back to defend. They won't be able to defend their tier 2 mid. If only they could have kept that range Rax alive up top. That would have made their lives so much easier here in this situation to transition out of the Roche pit. We see Timber still smoked up in the trees, waiting perhaps to catch Na'Vi off guard. The rest of his teammates are grouped up in the base, and Na'Vi will just make a 5-man rotation up top to finish off these melee racks.
Shochlo in a somewhat compromising position, but...
And Rasta wards come down. Interesting choice to use them for this top lane of racks. Would have thought perhaps they'd save it for a mid push, but Na'Vi very happy to just slow siege here. Havost in the front lines with living armor on. Slithering Crush does connect, but does absolutely no damage. And now Windex in some trouble. He'll get silenced, and he will fall. The Chain Frost flies, does take a couple of bounces, but doesn't do a hell of a lot. Doom finishes off the Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, the rest of RX in big trouble. Yoki and Dread both about to fall. Tame My Wild trying to make it back to the tier 4s. He will survive, at least for now. Shochlo has bought back, as has the Lich being played by Dread. There's the Aegis. Will get procced on the Slardar. Ember Spirit hopping forward, but he takes a homing missile to the face, and now he's in big trouble. Lich comes in with the mech. It's just not enough. Yoki has since respawned, but he'll get stuck in shackles. They do find a kill onto Dendi. Steps in the right direction, but still relaxed, just in big trouble. They're getting repelled back into their well. What can they do here, Merlini? No, Na'Vi overcommitting once again. Timber comes in with the huge deeps, finishes off the Shadow Shaman and the Doom. They'll get a kill on Gyro. Puppey forced to port out. Once again, Na'Vi with a convincing team fight, but an overcommitment, and they will get wiped up.
Yeah, and you know what's really been saving them from the initiation in these fights is actually the Euls. Dendi has been cycloning the Slardar as soon as he blinks in. I think that was the second time that he's done that, and immediately into a call down following. And that's just not the way that you start off a team fight, especially when you're the defender. So Slardar really needs his BKB. This is when I'm like, if you didn't have your Vanguard, you could have your BKB and things would be a lot more simple for you, and you can just go man mode on Gyrocopter, force out an Overgrowth or a Doom very early in the fight. But as it stands right now, even with the Aegis, Relax were unable to save their racks, and slowly but surely, Na'Vi is gaining ground into Relax's base, and Relax, they just can't take down any of these towers too.
Yep, that's been the biggest problem. They're making these holds, but they can't transition it into any objectives, less that of the Roche that they grabbed just a few moments ago. Now we see initiation here in the mid lane. Yoki does hop forward with the Slithering Crush, but this is such a good tree end game. So far, that Living Armor has had such a role. Timbersaw hops forward, does a fair bit of damage to Dendi with all 3 of his spells. Oh, hops forward is the Ember Spirit. Almost finishes off Dendi as he gets a crit, but just not enough damage. Now Funnick in some trouble. The Chain Frost comes out. Out goes the Overgrowth as well. The call downs to follow. Funnick, he gets doomed. Rubik steals it, and that will be a dead Doom. Timbersaw does pay for it. It's just a 1-for-1 right now. Yoki with the amplified damage out in Havost. 2 fights breaking out now. Havost will survive. Kuroki blinks forward, catches Wind X in the shackle, actually burns the wards here as well, and no kill comes of it. Meanwhile, around the backside, Lich does get picked off, so it ends as a 2-for-1, but Timber will respawn already. Compliments of that Bloodstone.
Yep, and without the Rasta wards and without Doom, I don't think they can push, and they might be overcommitting yet again. Havost gets caught alone.
And will he burn the BKB here? No, it's still on cooldown from the last fight. Havost does fall. Kuroki hexes and then is able to blink away. So Relax do find that recovery kill. The Bloodstone on Tame My Wild doing some serious work. Puppey and Kuroki could be in some trouble here. They'll find Puppey. They find Kuroki as well. A great Timber chain forward. This Treant Protector is destined to fall. No way he's going to survive to tell the tale. As Slardar does finish him off with one last pitchfork jab. Tame My Wild hopping forward. They see Kuroki and they are hungry. Rasta does taste good in the evening, Merlini, and they will turn him into a puddle on the ground. Now, still not over. Funnick and Dendi looking for a little bit of vengeance here. Funnick trying to go blow for blow with Yoki. Dendi joining the fray as well. Yoki, he's going to be in some trouble. Timber hops in, and look at the damage! An explosion from this Timber Saw. Both Funnick and Dendi will fall.
And
it's a complete 5-man wipe again!
Did you see that burst? Both of them were almost at full HP, and then Yoki and Taymai Wild
Timber motherfucking Saw!
That was ridiculous.
Woo!
This is why you don't want to. They should have banned him.
Yeah.
For real.
Like, they banned Clockwork, and Clockwork would not be doing that amount of burst damage in this
He's
game,
not
I'll
as
tell you
scary
that.
as a Timber. I mean, he doesn't even have any items. He just has Bloodstone, pretty much.
Yeah, he's just Timber Saw being
He's just
Timber
going to
Saw.
town.
He's so good against Strength Core lineups. It is absurd.
And it was right next to the trees, too.
Yep.
Get that Whirling Death Deeps.
Oh my gosh. And now Na'Vi almost in a little bit of trouble here, I would say. Their tier 1 tower in the mid lane will probably fall. No, that living armor going to be way too much. Shocklow in some trouble. Maybe now it's RX who are going to overcommit. Chain Frost does fly, but doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage.
Ooh, that was an unfortunate bounce. If
Yeah.
it bounced left instead of right, I think Kuroki would have died there.
Yeah, it was. Bad batch of RNG perhaps. There's the blink forward. Now Yoki's in some trouble. Funnick does use the Doom, and Slardar will go down. He does not have enough for buyback. He did manage to get the sprint off before the Doom came out, but I'm not really sure if that helped him very much because the damage buff, yeah, he still falls nonetheless. And now things for RX are going to be a little bit more difficult. Buyback not available on Ember or the Slardar. Ember's is actually still on cooldown. Slardar is just short the gold. And
Timber can make a hold here with the Chakram, but that's about it.
perhaps Kuroki does not have Rasta Ward, so this won't be the easiest push in the world.
Rubik still has Doom, too. This could be disastrous once Slaughter
Oh.
gets up, but how long is that? It's
Wow.
only in his arsenal for, what, maybe another 30 seconds? So they have a pretty small window. Looks like they're just going to go for the T2. And
Yeah.
Na'Vi realizing that they've been overextending a lot in the past couple of engagements, giving Relax a lot of kills. Relax is actually ahead of kills right now. Gold graph about 7,000. I think there was at least one buyback for the top racks. I don't know past that. Oh, Kuroki's out alone.
He's in big trouble. Timbersaw hops forward. There's no way the Rasta is going to survive this one. He doesn't have his wards off cooldown, so not the biggest kill, but still a kill for RX. Definitely not a bad
Rubik
thing
wants to use his Doom.
at this stage in
He's
the
like,
game.
I want to Doom somebody. It's
Yeah.
about to run out. Poor guy.
Dire's middle tower is
That
under
sucks
attack.
when you steal an amazing spell and you can only use it one time.
Yeah, that is definitely unfortunate. A huge experience edge for Relax, though. Just about 7,500 in the gold graph. Although it is in Na'Vi's favor, that's almost all tower gold. Part of the problem for RX is because they don't have a flash-pushing lineup where they can't just knock these towers down. The living armor on the structures has been huge. Puppey, not using it to its full potential right now, but Tier 1 mid and top are still standing. Roche won't be up for a little while longer, still waiting for that initial cooldown before we see the RNG factor of how long Roche is coming up.
Dendi in a little bit of trouble, but Ember Spirit was not in range to get that bolus sleight of hand combo off. And now everyone on Na'Vi is alive. They have all their ultimates up. They are ready to fight.
Uh-oh. Slardar
That's a-
does hop forward.
It's an early BKB.
Yep,
And
forces it
Overgrowth
out.
is stolen, isn't it?
Oh, Rubik. Yep, there it is. He's stolen Overgrowth. This has been a great exchange for RX, though. Slardar did burn his BKB as well, so him and Havost both down that cooldown. Here we go. Dendi popping the ultimate. Kuroki taking a lot of damage. He does have wards available, but he has taken one hell of a lot of damage from that Chakram. He will fall. The wards come down, and they grab a counter kill onto the Rubik, so he doesn't get to use that Overgrowth. That's a little bit unfortunate. The Doom ultimate out on Timbersaw. Dread going to get left behind. He throws the Chain Frost before he goes down. Great spread from Na'Vi. Only takes one bounce, and the Doom ultimate won't be enough to secure a kill onto Timber, as Tame My Wild does walk away, but still Na'Vi find the better exchange. One support for two.
Not that bad, though. It's just the weakling supports. Oh, Funnick
Dire's
going
bottom
on.
tower is
Timber
under
on
attack.
top, but not enough deeps. That they have. It's pretty difficult for them to push into this. It is nighttime, but Timbersaw's still up. You can throw out the Chakram, although he's
Yep.
already back in base. He does have that gem. Not really
Dire's
sure why he
middle
needs it.
tower
Oh, I
is
guess
under
for nature's
attack.
guys.
Yep. One thing that RX have been doing very well is focusing the Shadow Shaman. And at the last 4 engagements or so, they've either been able to kill Kuroki before he can use his ult, or force him to do the one last ditch. I'm dying anyway. I better just get my ult down. And that stops Na'Vi's momentum. They can't easily just push into the base and knock down either the Tier 3 mid or this Tier 2 bottom without the Rasta
That's
wards.
definitely the right idea, though. Like, leaving a Rasta up in the fight is just a big mistake.
Yep. And now we're going to see another engage break out. Na'Vi hop forward. The Yule's on Slardar, but Funnick, he's going to take a lot of damage. Puppey comes in with the Overgrowth. Call down as well. Yoki with the BKB on in the front lines. Mech comes out from Lich. Now Tame My Wild's in some trouble. He's going to get hexed, and Timbersaw will fall. He's their big bruiser, and they need him. That Bloodstone, though. Yeah, only 10 seconds.
He had BKB. I'm not exactly sure why he didn't use it there. It is still a 9-second BKB. Maybe he just wanted to be a little judicious about that. But, I mean, if Timber TP's down bottom, I think they can defend.
Yep, and they have a glyph available as well. They may want to save it and just sacrifice this tier 2 and try and make a hold at the tier 3, or
They almost
perhaps
lost,
not.
but they're just straight ignoring it.
They're going to hop forward. Timber looking for a kill onto Puppey. Wow, great blink reaction from Puppey as he does survive. And again, Na'Vi will be repelled. They didn't have to burn the glyph. Tame My Wild hops forward. He's got the BKB on, doing a lot of damage to Kuroki. Oh, a huge Slitherine Crush on everyone on Na'Vi. Now another Whirling Death will do a lot of damage. Ember Spirit will be the first to fall, though. RX may have bit off more than they can chew. The Rasta wards come. Timbersaw falls to the wrath of the Rasta Shackle. Chain Frost taking some bounces, but there are plenty of creeps inbound to absorb some of the damage. The last bounce will end at Funnick. It's going to be a 3-0. This is the fight that Na'Vi have been waiting for. Now they want to pursue Dread as well as Yoki, the only two left alive. They'll be forced to retreat into the base, and Na'Vi should finally be able to finish off this tier 2 tower down here in the bottom lane.
I think they should have just defended. That was very aggressive. They had 2 blinkers. Ember Spirit tried to Remnant and got immediately hexed by Kuroki and died there. So very nice play by Kuroki. And that's what happens when you don't burst them down early on in the fight. They needed the Chain Frost follow-up after the Southern Crush, but I mean, it's not like Lich was out of position. He can't really chase that far into them, man. I mean, they were fighting into this choke too. All the supports had to come into this little choke, and the 2 Strength Healers were over here. Ember got Hex over here and just died, and Na'Vi were just in very, very good position there. Looks like Roshan will be the spoils of that victory.
Oh, Divine Rapier is out. Who has it? Where is it?
Gyro. Rutro. #1 Rapier carrier.
Wow.
With the BKB, HOD, Butterfly. I mean, that is scary.
I mean, Havost is 18-5-7. He's been picking up a lot of these kills, so I'm not surprised that he was able to grab a Butterfly and then a Rapier.
He's like well over 50% of Slardar.
And a double damage rune. Oh,
it's
no.
only plus 553. Casual.
Oh, my God. Casual 700 per attack. This is going to be a ridiculous gyrocopter right here. He has the Aegis as well. I mean, look how fast this tower is melting. There is a glyph available for RX, but this is surprisingly risky from Na'Vi. I mean, if they mess up, if they overstep their bounds and they lose this Rapier, RX could potentially turn it around. I thought it was a Rapier on the side of Relax because they're the ones up against the wall when I first saw it pop up. So I don't know if this is worth the risk for Na'Vi. It's very showy, and I'm glad they grabbed it, but, well, we've still got a game on our hands here, Merlini.
I like seeing the Rapier.
Who doesn't like seeing a Rapier? Is there anybody that's just like, man, Rapier's for scrubs? I've never heard that before. Oh, boy. So other item pickups here, not too much actually. Kurok working towards an Ag Scepter, does have the Point Booster and Ogre Club. And on the Dire side, yeah, not too much. Force Staff out on Rubik. Ember Spirit, looks like he's going to try and transition into a BKB after Crystallis, which is sort of interesting. But here we go, Ultimate from Dendi. And Na'Vi being very cautious, just letting Havost get some chip damage on the tower. Rasta wards come down as well. Homing Missile on Windex. They will be able to finish it off, but this Tier 3 tower just going to get melted here. Now Havost, the target of choice. Slardar hops forward, throws the Slitherine Crush. Chakram, they do a fair bit of damage, and they do repel him. Timbersaw gets a deny on the tower. But the wards will now start chipping away at the ranged barracks. You can see RX just playing so passive here, as they well should. One good flat cannon mixed with Overgrowth, and they will get wiped up. Great spread as well, not making Puppey's life easy. But they're basically just going to watch their racks die. Ranged have already fallen. Melee taking some heavy damage as well. Funnick comes in, does miss the War Stomp. BKB's popped. Funnick in big trouble. He will actually be the first to fall. Puppey going in deep. Now Havost just laying in the right clicks. Lich and Rubik will get obliterated. Yoki getting repelled by Dendi as well. Tame My Wild trying to do what he can, but the Rapier is just too much. It's living up to his name, and yeah, it's doing some pretty serious deeps here. Buybacks come out from Relax, but I think hope is lost here, Merlini. Dreams were killed.
Yeah, Havost, Crusher of Dreams. Relax did hold on pretty well, though. I think a lot of it had to do with Na'Vi's overextension, but at the same time, they still were fairly resilient and were up in kills for a decent portion of the game.
Yeah. You definitely make a fair point there, my friend. Yoki will hop forward. Tier 3 in the mid falls, and we're about to see Mega Creeps coming out. And, uh-oh, Shotchlo. He's going to get sheeped. And, yeah, just a couple of pew-pew-pew right clicks from Hvost, and he will get scraped up. Down goes the Rubik, and, well...
Yeah, Gyrocopter is not worthy of that really low win percentage, too.
Yeah, he really is.
Hvost just destroyed this game.
Yeah.
And he was...
25 and 10.
He didn't have like the best supports with him too. Like Shadow Shaman and Train Protector are not the best supports. At the same time, he did have a pretty easy lane. So actually, it looks like
yeah, they'll find a couple of kills.
He's crushing fools.
Yeah, he's doing some damage. The Aegis is still up on Hvost though, so he can afford to be even a little bit hyper aggressive here. He can take one spill and then just pop back up and drop the
Megas.
hammer. Yeah, it's Megas. It's pretty much over now. Funnakov's forward War Stomp onto Dread. Level death, and yeah, that will be enough to finish off the kill. There is one lone defender left. He gets cycloned. He gets doomed. There's the GG. Well played.
I think if Relax had a more well put together draft, it would have been a little bit of a different game.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right that Na'Vi did overcommit a little bit, and that was part of why Relax were able to hold on to so much of their momentum, because Na'Vi, you know, once they burned all their cooldowns, Relax had that the opening to shut them down at least twice. But I will say Relax played very well. That Roche in particular, that was a really, really top-notch play.
Mm-hmm. They're very resilient.
They are very resilient indeed.
Do you think they overvalue the Ember Spirit pick? Or they just didn't put him in a situation to thrive?
I don't know if they overvalued the pick, but he just didn't really have a big impact. Ember was mid, right? Is that how he started?
Ember was off lane.
He was off lane. Who did they have? Oh, Timber was mid. Yeah, he was off lane against the Gyro, and it didn't work. I don't know. Him and Lich together, I feel like he either needs to be mid, where he can have a 1v1 role and kind of dominate, or he needs a tri-lane built around him. That kind of 2-1-2 where they had the duo lanes against the Gyro, not really where Ember shines.
They were weak supports, though. Like
yeah, Lich and Ember Spirit, not a really strong duo lane.
Yeah, I think Gyrocopter actually fares very well versus them, too, because usually he relies on people chasing him down with Flame Guard, or chasing people down with Flame Guard, but he just, like, Rocket Barraged a couple times, and Flame Guard's gone. So
yeah.
He couldn't ever man up on him, and usually, if the supports are all busy pulling, you can probably get a solo kill in the lane.
Yeah.
But that opportunity never presented itself.
Yeah, and I see why they put Timber mid, because he was their big damage dealer. I'm sure if we pulled up the damage graph, it would be Timber topping the charts, because he was just blowing
Probably. Well, it doesn't actually, I think, take into Whirling Death minus 15% strength, but
okay,
still,
so
30,000 on him.
That's absurd. So I see why they wanted to allocate farm his way, but yeah, Ember Spirit is the one that he's much less flexible, where Timber can do more with less items. Ember really needs to have a good start. He needs that good farm. Just a Chrysalis ain't going to cut it.
21 kills on Hvost.
Insanity. That was a really action-packed game. Our only match for today, though, so it's a quick day 6. And that does it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow. We do have 2 matches coming up, but the weekends are always rough. Teams always rescheduling and all that stuff. So that's it for us today, Merlini. Remember to follow us on Twitter, guys, at ZyoriTV, at Merlini Dota, and, of course, at Beyond the Summit as well. Thank you for joining us here for Star Ladder. We'll see you guys tomorrow.